brothers. We're happy and we're singing and we're colored.
We're colored.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you, man. Speak
And
up,
we're
you know.
colored.
Yeah, nobody said nothing. Nobody said nothing. Oh God.
I said we're colored.
I ain't want to deal with today. This was the last day I wanted to deal with. But George Carmi is on top of the world. He is on top of the. Oh yeah. I'm Joe Castro. I'm here with my guys, George Carmi and Big Game James. We got good news. We got great news for George. We'll talk about. We got terrible news for the Eagles going up against the Cowboys next. But how are you guys doing? I guess we'll start there. How y'all boys doing?
I'm on cloud nine, man. The Cowboys, the Commanders won last week, feeling good. 10 wins. Oh, my mic's going out. Hold on, my mic's going out. Here we go. 1 second. Feeling good. 10 wins. Looking forward to today. I'm pumped. Happy holidays.
What's up, James?
Well, hey, I mean, we ain't going nowhere, but hey, we beat the Bucks. I remember I told y'all that 3-game stretch I was going to be a better intel about my team going forward as far as the backups, things of that nature. And I feel good that Bucks was a playoff team. They came in here and our defense played really good. Cooper Rush and them did enough, and we got the victory. So hopefully we can end it on a good note. They keep on talking about team tank and all that, but the tanking is done now. You only got 2 games left, so might as well try to win both of them because it really not going to change the position that much. And there's enough good players from that like 10 to 20 range that you can make it happen. So stop worrying about that. Win on a good note and just try to go into a positive thing going into next year.
Yeah, speaking of positive, I'll keep the positivity flowing until we get into this actual game, which we will. I promise you we're going to talk about it. But the boys are back, man. The boys are back, and we add in one. We got our +1. Hopefully everything works out. Obviously, people got real lives. But, we're going back to the Senior Bowl. Shout out to everybody that showed mad love. We had a lot of fun out there. Now we know what to kind of expect. So we wanted to bring our guy, George, along. He also got approved for the credentials. So we will all be out there on the field talking to these players, trying to get what each team is going to do. But it seems like we usually pick players for other teams because I'm pretty sure I was like talking up a lot of guys that ended up either Cowboys or, that team. So it's a fun time. I'm excited about that. I'm avoiding what we're eventually going to talk about. But George, you guys won. All right. I'll say this before you talk about how you feel about the team. I'll say this. Your fan base has officially become an op. I no longer before. I'll say
happened. This. The rivalry's back. The rivalry's back. 100%.
Me and James were talking about it, and James said it, and I'm gonna put you on black. He was like, "Bro, how come you always come at the Cowboy? You don't go at George like that. You don't go at the Commanders fans like that." And I was like, "Because I don't really feel, I feel bad for them. They looking good. Now no more feeling bad for you. You are now, you know what I'm saying? You are now an op. I can't stand y'all.
The hate is back.
I can't stand John.
Me and James come from the same era, so I always will hate the Cowboys #1 first and foremost. But dude, after this week, after all the crying the Eagles fans did all week long, it's on now. It's on right now. I love the rivalry. We wanted this. We talked about this in August. We want that heat with that smoke, the NFC East smoke. Here it is, man. I'm ready for it. It's awesome.
Yeah, I will say, all right. Crying, I've heard that a lot. Okay, my comments are littered with people saying, "Oh, you Eagles fans, cry more." I'm not crying. Okay, I'm not mad that you guys beat us. I'm not mad how it happened. I think it was mainly on the offense. We did not go out there and do what we had to do offensively. The defense did what they had to do. Yeah. The end of the game should have never got to that point. It should have never been that close. Our offense literally could not stop shooting themselves in the foot. And not just the offense, our special teams, which a lot of people aren't talking about, but Braden Mann was a terrible kicker. Our punt team did not look that good. Our kick coverage was terrible. You guys had continual short fields, and you can't do that to anybody, let alone to Jaden Daniels. So you guys won. I'm not going to take anything from you from that. Obviously, we didn't have our quarterback. Obviously, there were some shady calls, and I think that you can agree with me. There were some shady calls.
I want to talk about that during the show today. I want to talk about that.
We can talk about that because there were some shady calls, man. And I'm not I am not one that loves to yell about the refs, especially after you get that 1 day grace period. I feel like that 1 day grace period where you're like, everybody's at fault. I hate everybody. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles are terrible. You get that 1 day that you're just mad about everything. But after that, usually I'm like, listen, this is why we lost. That's why we lost. It's understandable. But in this game, from the unnecessary roughness on Jalen Carter to what was it? What was the other one? And you're gonna know exactly. I'm not gonna give y'all the Hurts one. I don't think that it is what it is. That was a bang play.
Yeah.
But there was another play. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting kicked out.
We gotta talk about that one too for sure. We gotta talk about that one for sure.
Tell me how I'm not supposed to be upset about that as an Eagles fan, because those were big. And then you can even talk about the fouls that you guys got on your drive. I want to hear what
James in the chat has to say. But as a third party, for me, we can agree potentially that the refs are awful on both sides. Marshon Lattimore had 4 pass interference calls against him, bro. There's one driver, A.J. Brown, was driving down the field because of the refs, dude. He has a full field after 2 back-to-back pass interference calls. A.J. Brown's a bully. He's a different breed. We'll talk about this. A.J. Brown's a bully. He's a different breed. He likes to get physical. Marshon Lattimore got in his face. Why are they going to throw a flag on it? The one that I was at the game, by the way. There was that one where A.J. Brown was grabbing him by his chest plate. Yeah. Marshon Lattimore grabbed his arm. For real, though, as a football player, you can't grab anybody's arm no matter what, right? So that's a pass interference call. But there were a couple other ticky-tack ones. That was one that got him past the 50-yard line. That, like 2 plays later, they throw another play, or Lattimore's all over him, trips over his own feet, and they throw a pass interference on that as well. Got y'all in the field goal range.
But he hugged him. He hugged him earlier in that route. I'll give you this. I will say this. Because rewatching that one,
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, it probably should have been a PI. Probably should have been a holding, though, because he did it earlier in that route, just blatantly hug him. Yeah. I mean, he did get off him, and I don't think it should have been a DPI, but it should have been a call. So that's the thing. You're looking. I get it. I get upset about calls.
About refs, though, y'all. Y'all can't.
James. Yeah, jump in here, James. What are you thinking?
You really can't jump and cry about refs, because even when we get into it, there's nothing we can really do. Every game, the refs is dropping the ball. Every game, the refs are making terrible calls. So we just have to deal with it as fans and whatever, because we got to assume every game the ref's going to make some kind of bad call. I already go into it thinking a ref is going to make a bad call in this game, and the players have to play so good where the refs don't make the outcome of the game. That's what you want. So beat that team so well that ref does not make a critical bad call to put you in a bad spot to lose that game. So you never want to put the game in the ref's hands. So you got to play good, clean football, because we should know refs are calling bad calls every game on both sides of the field.
We had 16 penalties between us both in that game. It's crazy. Out of control.
And the only ones that should have been called was on the Commander. At the end of the day.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to ask y'all, because this was y'all game. You know, when I was watching the Chauncey Gardner thing, I mean, we already know he be going ham, right? And I want to jump on it, with the Seth Joyner thing, because I remember what you said, Joe. Like, you used to talk shit too, Seth Joyner. So first, I want to ask the question, and it's a 2-part question. First, they said that he spit in somebody's face, and that's the reason why that happened. Okay. And then I want to get y'all's opinion on that. And then second, with the Seth Joyner thing, Seth Joyner said, I talked a lot of shit, but I knew when to shut up, and I knew when to be quiet, not to hurt my team. And dude don't know how to do it. So my question to you, Joe, on that part is, do you agree with that part with him, that he takes it too far, or do you think that's part of his game and that's what he needs to do?
I think it's easy to say and I have nothing but respect for Seth Joyner. If by some weird oddity, I know that people that we work together with work together. So by some weird chance he's watching this, I have nothing but respect for you, one of the greatest players in Eagles history. And I'm not saying that to, kiss ass. I really do mean that. But I do honestly feel it's very easy to say it from where he sits. You come from an era where you could say some crazy stuff and, not get in trouble. I don't think that CGJ, if he said, if he spit in somebody's face, then all bets are off. I can't defend that. I can't say nothing about that. But if he didn't, and it was over words, that's what the ref made it sound like. Like the ref didn't say he's spit in someone's face. He just said he was taunting and he was pointing and he was saying stuff. So if that's what you did it off of, that's weird. That would have never flew it. That you would have never seen that happen with Seth Joyner's time period. So I get it. You never hurt your players, but you never played in this type of, PC culture. I hate to say it like that, but it is what it is. This is you have to censor kind of what you're saying and how you say it. And it's even kind of trickling into the NFL a little bit. I mean, you see it in the NBA. The NBA, nobody watches the NBA because every other thing is like PC. Everything's like, oh, this government, that, and nobody wants to watch it. So anyways, I diverted a little bit, but at the same time, if you're doing it off your emotions, and that's my whole thing, if you're reffing off your emotions, that is ridiculous because you change the outcome of that game. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is a big part of our defense. So, that's a big loss. And it's not why we lost. It's not none of these certain. If I had to pick one thing, I would probably say our special teams. But I don't think one thing made us lose that game. Devontae Smith dropped the ball. Saquon dropped the ball. It is what it is. AJ
a lot of little small things.
Exactly. Death by 1,000 cuts. Death by 1,000 cuts.
If the ref was reffing off of emotion, I agree with y'all. I don't think the ref should ever. I don't like it when the ref puts their fingerprints on the game. You want the players to play, right? You want the players to get out there and play. And I don't mind trash talk. For real, you guys are watching. AJ Brown was running his mouth the entire game. He was flapping whenever he got those big catches, and they weren't throwing a flag on him. That's evidence to me that whatever CJ was saying was going too far, right? Because they already gave him a warning. It wasn't an ejection off of that 1 second, it wasn't like, hey, he did one instant, they threw him out. They gave him one warning, 15-yard penalty, and gave him another one later on. So he was crossing some lines. He was doing something there. And I'm glad James caught it, said, no, I don't know if you guys got that over there in Philly land. I heard that. I was hearing that he spit in one of our players' faces. And despite the fact that Damian Brown reached across and grabbed his face, it was retaliation because of the spit. And it makes sense. Like, it makes logical sense to do that. So that's what in my opinion.
Yeah. I can't, see, they just wanted to put this up because there are differing opinions on this, and that's fine. I think that's fine.
Respect to that, yeah.
Yeah, but, at the end of the day, you guys beat us by that. We lost in so many different ways. It was very upsetting. It's one of those losses, and I think I even said it in our group chat, it's one of those losses that you should have won it so many times that it makes it more like disheartening. If we would have just lost straight up once Kenny Pickett got in there, I could at least come in here and be like, Kenny Pickett sucks, next conversation. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, it was like, all right, Braden, man, what's going on? There's been a couple weeks. You look at the defense, and this is not to have a, Negadelphia mindset, but you look at the defense in the last 4 games, 5 sacks. Where's that defense pressure going? Where's that pressure gone? This is now the second or third time in this season where we've had some worries in the end of the game. You look at the Bryce Young. You look at, I want to say it was Atlanta in the week 2, right? This isn't the first time that happened. So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, this team is trash, I'm scared. But it's like, guys, come on. Like, these are the things we thought we got past. You know what I'm saying? And kudos to your defense
right there, George. Joe, look at that comment right there. That's what it is right there. That comment right there.
Which one?
On King Eagle number 1. Read that comment.
CJ, which one? He said a couple.
No, it's like when Big Game talk trash. Yeah. He talks trash with a competitive nature. But CJ goes too far, and where people want to punch him out. And this is what I agree with.
You're right.
I agree with that.
Mind CJ Gardner going hard and talking because that's his game. But just like a lot of your fans are saying in the chat, he got to calm down because just like you said, he's an important part of this defense. You get what I'm saying? So when he lets his emotions get the best of him, it takes him out the game and it hurts the team. And that's just from me from the outside looking in, because when that 36 came in, he did get worked up a little bit. I watched that. I watched the all 22. He was getting touched up. They was going after him. They were looking after him. So it did hurt. So I just think Gardner has really got to reel it in, especially playoff time, because he can't afford to be getting ejected or thrown out or something like that, because y'all could cost y'all a playoff game. Because you're right, he is an important part of that defense because of the attitude, his energy, and his playmaking ability.
And Joe, question to you, bro. You brought up a good point that kind of like sparked my interest. Going into the game, like the Commanders, one thing that they're actually worried about, you saw the Vernon Graham, but one thing was the protection, right? The Saints sacked the Commanders 8 times last game. They basically brought a lot of pressure against the Commanders last game. I don't know what happened with the Eagles there. Like, are they struggling on pressure all year long, or was that just an aberration for them? What happened there?
No, we've been good. Like I've said, we've been very good actually with pressures. In that like winning game right before. Like I said, the past 4 or 5 games we've been kind of having some issues, and you could say it's because of BG. You could say it's because of Bryce Huff. We just haven't been generating the amount. We haven't gotten the amount of sacks. I'll say that. We still have been getting pressure, just not the amount of sacks. Even against you guys, we had to start sending a lot more people. We were getting there. You know what I'm saying? It's just not the natural pressure that we had early on from your front four. So. I don't think it's something to be too worried about. We should have Bryce Huff after this Dallas game, so that adds to it. I don't think it's something to really be too upset or scared about. I don't know. I'm not worried about this defense. It's just frustrating. That's more of what it is. It's not, oh, this is who we are. It's more of, guys, we fixed this, and it feels like once something kind of went crazy, you lost Jalen Hurts, which is big, everything kind of just went out of whack. So it's just frustrating because you should have won that game. That's really where I'm at.
I'll give it to y'all. Having Jalen Hurts coming out of the game was a big deal because with Jalen Hurts in the game, he basically forces you to commit, or it forces you to be more cautious in the run game, right? Because Saquon Barkley, you can't just load the box. You can't just, slide to the right, attack that one side of the field because Jalen Hurts could do the RPO and go the other direction. It changes the game. It changes the scheme in regard to that. One thing that I'm happy with that game, walking into this game, I was like, you know what? You're like, hey, George, last week we were talking trash a little bit. Hey, George, are you scared about this week? I'm like, I'm not scared. Any given Sunday, right? Any given injury at any given point, right? What I liked about this game was it was the coming of age game for Jaden Daniels. It was the first time in his NFL career, 5 touchdown passes, 339 yards, 81 rushing yards, game-winning touchdowns against the number 1 defense in the entire league. I think it instilled a tiny bit of fear into the Eagles. I think so. I think you guys are done down at 10-0, feeling pretty good.
Hey, I love you to death, George. You guys, if you want to, go back, we're all, revisionist history. It's like you want to go back to the last time we had a nice little long win streak ended was when we went to the Super Bowl and you guys beat us. So I'm not worried at all. Not worried at all. I think a lot of Eagles fans are like, again, the word that really comes to my mind is frustrated. That's really where I'm at. I know we have the players, we have the guys to go out there and beat great teams. You guys are a good team. We didn't go out there and play the, Cowboys, right? Like we played a decent team.
No, don't do that. The Cowboys. That's really good. Yeah,
because we beat them. We beat them.
You did. You did. I can't.
Let's make sure we know that. In our first matchup, we came in there and whooped that ass.
You did. I can't.
Okay.
You didn't whoop our ass, you won, but you had won. You didn't whoop our ass, but you won.
We dropped 35 points in your house with Cooper Rush.
Kickoff returns at the end of the game, fourth quarter trash points, garbage points.
But I'm saying.
All I'm saying though is I'm happy. I'm happy though. Round 3, we're pumped up about this game, right? That's what it's all about. NFC East playoff game. Whoever wins is gonna be fire. It's gonna be pumped up.
So you guys still haven't made the playoffs though.
Yeah, but however, I'm gonna post today. However, look at it, 94%. My dream would be to beat the Falcons this week and have to rest our starters against James next week.
I know that's your dream.
I love that.
I know that's your dream.
But if we have to win both games, we win both games between 12-5, coming off a 4-12 year. Come on, that's dope.
So if you guys lose this game, serious question: if you guys lose this game, you would have to beat the Cowboys to make the playoffs.
We have to win one game, and the Falcons have to lose one game to make the playoffs. That's how it works.
Let's go, Michael Penix. Let's go, Mike Penix.
Yeah, bro. I don't want to see y'all in the playoffs. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't want to see y'all in the playoffs. And I've said this before the game. No, it's not even. It's hard to beat a team 3 times, play them 3 times, beat them twice. It's hard. That's hard to do. And you guys are a decent team. You guys are a good team. I'm not going to say take that away from you. They decent, right? You're not decent. But I am the one that said, I think I was like outside of George, the highest on the Commanders this year. I think I was one of the highest people on the Commanders. So I'm going to take that and run.
I gave them 8 to 9 wins. Yeah,
true.
I think we're all floating around 8 or 9 wins. I think at the beginning of the year, I think the Commanders are over they're over exceeding their expectation, which is good. I think right now it's Jaden and the gang. I think Jaden Daniels is an elevator and he's bringing up everyone around him. I think next year we need more players to add around him to make it a better team.
Sophomore slump.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully he keeps growing. Hopefully that Lamar bump is what I'm trying to see next year. What I'm trying to see. But one more wide receiver, I think it'd be fun next year. I'm excited, man. Like we're playing with house money. If we beat the Eagles in this playoff game, if we get to the playoffs and beat the Eagles, oh my God! You know, oh my God! That's all I gotta say. Change the whole game. I'm pumped about it.
I got to respond to this, and then I want to get into one of our first players. I just hold on, because who said this? Okay, I thought it was somebody in my comments. It's not. I'm a lot happier about that. It was Deshae. I hope this ain't one of your peoples. I'm sorry, no disrespect, but all disrespect. If you disrespecting my guy CJ JJ, that's not. I don't know who CJ is, but CJ GJ is definitely not overvalued. That boy got, I think, 4 interceptions this year. He, since the first 4 games, has been one of our best secondary players, and that's saying something. So, screw you. Anyways, you got me mad. You got me in my bag, bro. CJ, I love CJ, man, and I'm cool with how he acts. And sometimes he does go too far, but sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that player that's willing to say, you know what, F you and your mama, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So you really do sometimes need that. And the Eagles miss that sorely.
Dogs. Yeah, I'm mad.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So leave my guy alone, bro. He ain't spitting nobody's face. And if he did, what did you say to him to make you spit? That's what I want to know. All right. So we're going to take a break on this. Everybody bashing Joe for a second. We're gonna get into some Senior Bowl talk. We'll do one, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Do the other two. First, I think last week George went first. Do you want to go first, James? You want me to go first? How you want to do it?
I can go first. Get it out the way.
All right. Let me make sure I pick up the right player.
That's my man's.
That's not the right player.
No, that's not him. Although he's good, he's a good player.
I'm gonna have to get his picture.
All right.
Don't give it away, all right? But so the reason why we're doing this, like I said, we are going to be at the Senior Bowl. So I wanted to get a preliminary, you know what I'm saying, a preliminary list together of guys we're going to be looking at out there. All right.
You lying, Katea's mom. You lying. You want Micah. You lying. Stop lying.
What'd she say?
She said nobody wants Micah. That's a whole lie. Y'all just saying that because he said F Philly, and I appreciate him for saying that. F Philly. Appreciate him for saying that.
Man, F him, bro. F him and his brother. This clout chasing ass brother.
There you go.
All right, so your guy up.
There it is. Devin Neal, Kansas. This is the guy I'm gonna be talking about because Dallas needs help in the run game. I told everybody the first 3 rounds of the draft for the Cowboys should be a running back, a receiver, and a defensive end. Last week we talked the Utah State receiver. I cannot remember his name offhand. I do apologize. But this time we're going to talk about a running back in Devin Neal. And the thing I like about Neal is he's a workhorse back. And that's what the Cowboys kind of need. And he's a good change of pace as well. I think he left Kansas as the all-time leading rusher, 4,200 yards, 42 touchdowns in 4 years. That's pretty good. I mean, he was like freshman of the week a few times. His freshman year hit 1,000. Sophomore, juniors when he really broke out over 1,200, like 14, 15 touchdowns his junior year. And then he went kind of crazy this year, especially that Colorado game where he went nuts. That was like really put him on the map, right? And the thing that really I like about him, he's not like the 4.4 guy. They have him timed at 4.5. I want to see what his time is going to be if he's at the combine or things of that nature, because I think that's really going to springboard him higher in the draft if he has really good 40 time, because he has everything else. Quick feet, good balance, a little undersized because he's like 5'10", about 215. So I think he's undersized because if you look at his body, he don't look 215. So I think he's a little undersized. So I think that might be tough for him in between the tackles consistently. I think you want to get him in on the outside zone scheme where he can be a one-cut runner, because that's where he's really good with the one cut, and he's really good in and out the hole as far as with his feet. Great vision, really good vision. I think that's one of his selling points is his vision and his pass catching ability. I think that's what separates him from a lot of running backs in this draft is his pass catching ability. They use him a lot in the screen game dump off, so he has to get a more refined route tree as a running back, but he has really good hands, not a body catcher, good hands, catches with his hands, explodes, knows how to accelerate, decelerate after he makes the catch. So I just think that if you're adding a running back, I don't think he's a first rounder, but I think he's a day 2 guy between that 2nd and 4th round. You're going to see a Devin Neal go. And right now the Cowboys big time need at running back. Rico Dowdle, obviously, I think he's like 90-something yards from 1,000. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I like Dowdle, but he's nothing special at all. Nothing special. He's a straight line running back with limited vision, in my opinion, not a power runner. He's good in the pass game, but he's not somebody you're going to bring back and say, this is going to be our bell cow for another year. You need to get another running back to pair with him, particularly a speed guy, but you need another change of pace guy besides him because Rico is kind of just straight line, whereas Devin Neal offers you more things around. Got to get better pass blocking, but I really love the quick feet. I love the vision. I love the pass catching ability, and he could be a workhorse back in the future, and that's what I really like about Devin Neal.
Yeah, for the 2nd year in a row, I feel like there's some pretty darn good running backs going to the Senior Bowl this year. So maybe Jerry Jones will show up this year. Maybe he'll actually grab a running back. I don't know. He don't seem like he likes it. He's a good player. I'm kind of surprised he didn't come out last year, if I'm being honest. I know he's got the college football 25 hype. A lot of players do right now. A lot of players are just loved because of them on college football, but he is a very good player. And I think that you're right. You got to kind of figure out how he fits your system, but he could fit any system realistically if you give him the right role. So I do like him, and I love that we have 378 people right now in the chat, man. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. And look, if all 378 of you took 5 minutes to go to all of our individual channels and just hit that like, subscribe, you'd be doing us so much love, so much love.
Can I answer this question right quick, Joe?
Of course.
Drew, I just want to answer this because he says,
oh, here we go. Yeah, bring it back. Let's go.
I just want to – we talking football now. I give y'all so much props, Drew, and you still act like you don't know football, bro. You're going to sit there and say our O-line and D-line is not that good. Are we serious here? We have a Michael Parsons there. Our D-line has the most sacks in the NFL since he's come back. Do you understand that, Drew? Dallas Cowboys have the most sacks since Micah Parsons has come back out of any team. Come on, Drew, pay attention, bro. We got a guy on Cooper Beebe who's one of the better rookie centers. You still have, Guyton is a little suspect, but you got Cooper Beebe and Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith is pretty good, okay? I know Terrence Steele is a little, but he's gotten better. So we don't have trash guys. But if you're talking about looking to fortify, every year you should draft a defensive end. Every year you should draft an offensive lineman. Every year you have to do that. So, yes, they're going to continue to do that. But don't sit there and say our defensive line is trash when we got the most sacks since Michael Parsons has come back. Come on, dog.
I'm not going to lie. I've been so angry today at George. I haven't been looking at the chat that much. People are hilarious in the chat, right?
They are funny.
Yeah, I be forgetting how funny y'all be. I will say this. I'll push back for my dog, Drew. You quickly went over that Tyler Guyton thing. Didn't he get benched? Then put back in, and you quickly he's trash.
Because I can't. I'll admit that because he has struggled. But Joe, I did tell you at the beginning when we drafted him, didn't I tell you that he was going to have big time struggles? So it's not nothing that I didn't say because he was on the right side his whole career at Oklahoma. He's making the switch to the left. You're playing all these dogs on the left side like the first 5 games. You get what I'm saying? You're going to get your butt kicked. And I said he was going to get his butt kicked, and it happened. But that doesn't mean he's not going to be a good player. It just means that he was not ready, and they probably should have not threw him in the fire like that. They probably should have slow bleeded him like they, to give him confidence. But I think he's still a good player, and I think he's going to be a good player. But they should have known you going from the right side and never play the left, which is damn near the hardest position on the offensive line besides center, and you're going against animals and you're not giving him no help. Who ain't going to get their ass kicked by Myles Garrett and all them guys?
Facts, yeah. And Your offense was so predictable, but now I push back there. I got your back, Drew. And defensively, I'm gonna push back there a little bit as well. Who do you have at defensive tackle? Who do you have replacing DeMarcus Lawrence because he's like 90? Like, what? You guys are pretty old. Nealon is nice. Nealon is nice.
Nealon is nice.
Nealon's nice.
He's a good player. And we got Micah playing the edge. That right there, that takes your numbers up. Now listen, Chauncey Golston, I ain't hyping him, but he's a steady player. Mazi, I'm not hyping him either, and he's not played to that first round, but he has got better year 2. We can all agree on that. He has gotten better year 2. Now he ain't like, oh, Mazi, but I'm saying you see the progress. So to say our defensive line is trash, I can't say that. Now, well, yeah, I can admit we didn't play great teams. I can admit that, but at the end of the day, you saw when Micah Parsons came back how much our defensive level went up, the pressures went up, the sacks went up, everything. So he is the key. He makes the whole defense better because you must account for him. And when you have to account for him, other guys are shown. And plus, I mean, that's what it is.
And you got your boy Sam Williams coming back. I forgot about him.
And but you know what with Sam Williams, I love his talent, but bro, he got to show it because I mean, this is what damn near year 4, and we still waiting.
Is Micah Parsons a free agent this year or next year, James?
He ain't never gonna be a free agent.
When's he coming to DC? Is all I'm trying to figure out, man. Come on now.
He would never wear no Washington. I'll tell you that right now. He would never wear no Washington.
He said his uncle's Dan Quinn, though. That's what I heard.
They're talking after the game and stuff.
Yeah, getting phone calls. Yeah,
because they boys, they cool. Dan Quinn is a cool dude. Like who wouldn't talk to Dan Quinn? Dan Quinn's a cool dude. So yeah, they're gonna keep on that relationship. But Mike Zimmer, Grandpa Zimmer, they got a relationship too. And you see what Zim has done with him. Yes, I forgot. Osa Ogadazua. Now, don't hate on. Is he weak, Joe?
He's good. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. He's good. But yeah,
so
you guys have some pieces, right? You guys got some pieces. But if you look, all right, if we look at the Eagles line, defensive line, and you look at your defensive line, I think you guys have an arrow that points to maybe like a year or 2 from now, you'll still be okay. I think the Eagles a year from a year or 2 from now will be even better. You're talking, the Eagles have the pieces to be one of the best defensive lines in football, and they're all young. So from that point of view, I can see why Drew would think your defensive line.
But we're just as young because Sam Williams is only 25. Micah's only 25.
Anything.
You're right, but you saw talent because he has had a 6-sack season in part-time. Yeah. Osa is young, Mazi's young, Nealon's young. We're just as young as you guys.
But I don't think none of those guys are impact. Nealon's not going to have the type of career that Nolan Smith is, not in my opinion, especially from what you've seen this past year.
How do you feel about Nolan Smith? He's like a polarizing player.
Nolan Smith this past year has shut me up. When he first came out, and you can
ask him. He's a sack guy, though.
Say again?
He's just a sack guy. He doesn't do anything else.
Nolan Smith?
Yeah.
What does Nealon do?
Nealon can play that run.
Nobody.
Nealon is better. Nealon is better in the run game, heads and shoulders. He's not better pass rusher than Nolan. He's not better. No,
I would give you that Nealon is better suit in the run game. He's got a better body to be a better player in the run game. But I don't think that Nolan Smith is trash against the run.
I think he's trash against the run.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying I don't think. I'll give him like a little bit of just because of the frame. I'll give you that just because of the frame. But
and that's what
been dogging this year.
But if you watch Nealon, he sets that edge. And I even said he wasn't going to be a high sack guy when he came into college. Came out of college. I said he wasn't.
I like
but he's going to be a guy that's steadily going to impact that run game. He's like a baby DeMarcus Lawrence to me. Not getting a lot of sacks, whole lot of pressures, great in the run game. That's what I'm saying. I think Nolan is a better pass rusher than Nealon, definitely. But we're saying run game, total package. I think that's where Nolan is lacking because he's very light and he can get taken out of the run game.
He's got some plays. I will say there's a lot of film on him right now, and it goes both ways when it comes to his size. You could definitely point out some plays where you're like, all right, if he had an extra 20 pounds of muscle, that probably wouldn't have happened. But on some other plays, you're like, I can't believe he just stopped that. Like, he's been very good. He's shut me up. The first year when he came out of college, I told a lot of people.
He was the first.
Yeah,
pick,
he
right,
was. He was number 30 or number 30.
That's what I thought.
When he came out of college, I told people were really, really high on him. We had number 10 that year, and we had 31, right? Or 30. So we obviously picked Jalen Carter and we picked Nolan Smith. I told people Nolan Smith was a project. Nolan Smith was a guy you had to kind of get going. He didn't have the frame. He didn't have the real pass rush moves. If you look in college, I think he had like 7 sacks all throughout his career or something like that. It wasn't like he was, wowing people. He just had a bunch of athleticism, a bunch of untapped potential. So I think that he moved along way quicker than I thought he would. If I'm being honest with you, I thought it would be one of those things coming down to his 4th year. And you're like, do you want to give him his 5th year option? Now it's like, thank God you have his 5th year option. So I don't know. And then you got Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter about to be one of the best defensive players in football. Like
that's what Micah Parsons is, though.
Micah Parsons, he could be, but I don't think he got that dog mentality.
He's got 50 sacks, dog, in his first 4 years. That's the fastest.
In the regular season, once the lights come on, he just disappears. He disappears.
What did Jalen Carter do in the playoffs?
Huh?
Parsons a dog, but he does come and go.
Hold up. What did Jalen Carter do last year in the playoffs against the Bucks?
We're gonna look that up. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Look it up, because y'all lost and he didn't do shit.
We lost. I know that for sure. I was there, unfortunately.
And Baker was kicking y'all ass. I didn't see Baker running for his life in that game.
Yeah, Baker was cooking, actually.
I don't want to hear that, bro.
Oh no, in the play. Let me find the playoff game.
Michael Parsons done had a half a sack. More than a half a sack in the playoffs.
Yeah, he didn't do nothing. He didn't do anything in that game. He had one tackle. But we're talking about one game. We're talking about one game. Your boy had like what? 5, 6 years now?
That's not true. That's not true. Because if you looked at that San Francisco game, the first one in 2021, Michael played good. He had a sack and a half in that game. And then when we beat the Buccaneers and we played San Francisco that second game, watch that game. He was all over that field. He was the reason why we stayed in that game. Like, people are trying to disrespect him. Our defense is average without him. As soon as he comes in, our defense goes up. I just showed you the numbers.
I do agree with that.
I just showed you the numbers. When Michael comes in, our whole defense changes. He makes other people get free. Like, you have to have 2 people on him, and he opens the game up for everybody else. I'm not saying Jalen Carter ain't a dog. He's an absolute animal. Okay? I'm agreeing with you. Jalen Carter is a dog, but so is Micah. So I'll
never take that away from him. We was just talking about playoffs, and he does disappear in the playoffs. I do think that Jalen Carter will be a better defensive player than him. I think he'll be more valuable. Yeah, because you look at the position, just position.
Edge or a tackle. Who's more valuable?
If your defensive tackle's getting you 6 to 10 sacks a year,
is he? How many sacks did he get this year?
This year, I don't know how many this year, but last year,
my guy about to hit 10 again.
He got like 5 or 6
a year. And miss half the year, getting 10.
There's a valid argument for that. I think Micah Parsons is more versatile. He had 9 sacks since November 10th. Micah Parsons has 9 sacks. Micah Parsons, you can move him all around the field. He's a disruptor. You can put him anywhere. He's a chess piece. I think Micah Parsons is a beast. I agree with that. Jalen Carter, Joe, you do have a good point, though. He's nasty, right? And if you have a disruptive defensive tackle, I don't know if you guys saw the trend on PFF or on Spot Track, but basically over the past couple of years, the interior defensive linemen are becoming the highest paid players on the defensive side of the ball because they're getting paid like $20, $30 million a year because the most direct path to the quarterback is straight ahead, right? If you have a disruptive defensive tackle that can break it up, it's pretty significant. So Jalen Carter is legit like that. I don't know if I'm going to say he's more impactful than Micah Parsons.
Now,
Micah Parsons is versatile. I'll take the versatility
right now, but give it a couple of years, George.
Yeah.
4.5 sacks right now. 4.5 sacks for Jalen.
Carter blew up that freaking first fumble against Brian Robinson. I saw it.
And I also seen Jalen Carter when he had that big tackle on Jaden Daniels go whoop.
Yeah, that was Jaden Daniels different though, man. That boy good, bro. I can't stand that guy, bro.
All I can say is this: when we played the Commanders, case in point, when we played the Commanders, Micah was the whole disruptor in that whole damn game for our defense. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we won, because Micah in that game, he had 2 sacks. He was all over the field.
I will say,
Two sacks
Jaden
against
Daniels is
Philly.
getting healthy now. That's why I'm happy about that, though. Basically, you saw what we talked about it all year long about how good Jaden Daniels is. I'm not trying to hype him up too much, but basically, the first game, I was disappointed because I think he threw like 8 to 15 passes to his running backs, like within the line of scrimmage, the first game against the Eagles. He wasn't doing that in game 2 because they unleashed him. That's the Jaden Daniels that he really was all year long. I like the fact that he's healthy now going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
5 turnovers.
Can I say one last thing? I'm gonna say
5 touchdowns.
I want to say one last thing.
5 turnovers.
I want to say one last thing on this.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all don't watch football. Not my guys right here, but a lot of y'all don't watch football because when I see people instantly say he only got like a half a second for game, you didn't watch the game because there's a such thing as pressures, and when a quarterback is about to get second, he throw the ball away. That ain't his fault. Okay, when he's trailing a guy and he's about to tackle him, and that quarterback throws it away, that's what's happening in a lot of them playoff games where he ain't getting the sack. He's got the pressure on him. They get rid of him, get rid of the ball, and then it looks like, oh, Mike ain't doing nothing. You ain't watching the game because damn near every game, Mike is putting pressure on them quarterbacks every damn game. That's a whole damn lie. So, Drew, I like you, dog. I do like you, Drew, but I can't respect your football knowledge, big dog, at all. Can't.
Damn.
This is gonna happen all year, George. I'm just go back and forth all year. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hate on Micah.
I also to give Bear some credit. I see his comment in the chat. He said you need to speed at linebacker.
Hell yeah.
The team that first cracked the code against Jaden was the Pittsburgh Steelers, believe it or not, right? Because what they ended up doing, going into the first 9 games of the year, the read option just killed people, right? Because you didn't know what to do. Like you didn't know basically you couldn't contain Jaden to be trying to you had to commit one way or the other. What the Steelers did with the read option, instead of having to make a choice whether it was a running back or a quarterback getting the ball, the Steelers were like, we're going to spy Jaden Daniels with Patrick Queen. He's fast enough to sit on him, right? We're going to have Highsmith in the other edge. I guess Watt. There's going to blitz the quarterback no matter what. Who cares about what Brian Robinson is going to do? We'd rather take 3-yard gains than Jaden Daniels taking for 50. That's what the Steelers did, and shut it all down. That was a good strategy by them.
Suck now. I don't know what the hell happened to the Steelers. Them boys can't.
They were overrated all year, in my opinion, man. They were.
I mean, we beat them. So, I can say that.
We beat them too. We beat them
that's
too.
When you knew they were overrated. That's when we
knew they was overrated when y'all beat them.
We're going to see. It's going to be interesting, especially if the Commanders do make the playoffs. We'll most likely be playing you guys. So that'll be and it'll be in Philly.
Round 3. I'm gonna try to go to that game, Joe.
I'll try. I don't know. I spent like $600 on the last playoff game, and we got our ass whooped. I was so mad. I still think about it, obviously, because I'm still talking about it. But we'll get into the next player. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. We got 468 people.
Hey, what's up? People, thank you for joining us. Appreciate y'all.
What's up. Y'all like us, man. Y'all really like us. All right. Let me see if I got the right player. Nope, I don't. All right. That's not the right player. Nope. All right. I did it. I did it. I'm so proud of myself. So, all right. This is going to be hard to say this name, but I'm going to try anyways. Jake Bringingstool. I think I did it right. Jake Bringingstool. All right. So 6'6" tight end out of Clemson, obviously. There's a lot of good tight ends in this draft, and I don't think people are talking about it, because I think we talked about it not too long ago. It might have been you guys, and somebody brought up the younger kid. Where is he from? Harold Fannin. No, somebody brought up Harold Fannin. It might have been you, James. I feel like it was you, James. But either way, there's a lot of good tight ends in this draft, and there's some guys from real small schools that people aren't going to know about. But when I think of this draft, I think of guys like this kid. I think of guys like Colston Loveland. I think of Tyler Warren. Jake is, and I think this is kind of the theme you're going to get in this draft. You have a lot of very good receiving tight ends in this draft. A lot of very good route runners. A lot of, just guys that are going to be playmakers at the next level. And I think that Jake is a perfect just symbolism of that. Again, like I said, 6'6", around 235, I think is what he's listed at for Clemson. This year, he got way more attention as far as being a receiver. I think he had like 7 touchdowns. I don't have the numbers right in front of me. But either way, he had a really good year this year. I know a lot of the attention is going to go at guys like Loveland. And I keep bringing up Loveland because he reminds me a lot of Loveland. And he honestly reminds me, receiving wise, of your guy Jake. I don't know why. Jake Ferguson a little bit. Just the way he runs his routes. It's not like the cleanest, crispest, but it's quick. It's, you know what I'm saying? And he gets open. Right. He creates separation. Right. Your guy Jake blocks way better than this kid. And that's we'll talk about that in a second. But he is a good player, and he might go out there and absolutely kill the combines. Like, he's very, very athletic, and you've seen him run away from players that on paper have some pretty good, 40. So I'm excited to see him, go out there and run in shorts. It is what it is. But I want to see what numbers he puts up, because I think that could really, really boost his stock. The negatives are the negatives of a lot of tight ends in this draft class, with the exception of maybe Loveland, who I don't think Loveland's really that great of a blocker either. Tyler Warren, to me, is probably your best blocking option in the top 5, top 10 of the tight ends. But this guy can't really block that good. And it's not that he can't block that good. If you put him on an island, because I do think you can you can utilize him as a slot receiver. I think you can push him outside. But if you're asking him to, line up in line and block someone, I don't see that happening very much. So in that sense, a guy that a lot of Eagles fans will know, just to kind of make it a little bit more, something you're familiar with, it's probably like a Grant Calcaterra. Like, he's a guy that can definitely get you something going in the passing game. But if you're relying on him in the run game, you're probably going to, you're going to be spurned by that. So I like him. I think that he can add a little bit of weight. I think he can become a better blocker, but I don't think you can, train somebody to have long arms. You can't train somebody to be 6'6" and probably running like the 4.5, 4.6s. Like, those are just things you're born with. So I think he's a really good player. I think that he'll only get better in the right system. Again, I think you're looking at a guy like a Grant Calcaterra if you're the Eagles, if you want to pin, your finger on somebody. Not the greatest after the catch either, but he can make some things happen. So yeah, I want to start talking about tight ends, because I think that this is and I said this last year, and I think I'm being proven right this year. Last year had some really good tight ends in it as well. So overall, I'm looking at this kid as like a 3rd, 4th round draft pick, probably, unless something crazy happens in the actual combine and everything. But I wouldn't mind the Eagles picking him up as like a number 2. I think he would be really, really good, to be honest with you, as long as you have somebody that you trust as an inline blocker. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's not going to be that guy. So I like him. And if I have to keep saying his name, I'm not too mad about it, because Jake Bringingstool, that's not too bad. I could say that a couple times, not fast, but I can say it a couple times. So I like him. I like him a lot, and I'm looking forward to watching him, to be honest with you, because last year we saw Jared Wiley became like my favorite player of the Senior Bowl for some reason. Just watching him play, I think that he was really, really good, really underrated. So it was fun to see him get drafted. And we'll see if this kid goes higher. I've heard some people having him as high as the 2nd round. I've heard some people as low as the 5th. It really depends on what you want. You know what I'm saying? What are you looking for? A guy that can do everything? No, he's not that guy. He's a receiver. He's a guy that's going to go out there and make plays for you. So I like him, and then I wouldn't be mad if the Eagles got him, but I don't think we will, to be honest with you. I want Tyler Warren. That's where I'm at. But that was my
PA guy.
And I'm glad to see somebody actually knows who Jake is. Yeah, really good receiving threat. Yeah, he's one of those guys that definitely is going to get talked about a lot during the drills, because it is what it is. That's what a lot of fans look at. They look at the 40 time, they look at the 3-cone, this, that, and the third. He's going to do good in those drills. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. He's probably going to have a good vert. Excuse me. He's just very athletic. He's one of those guys with, like I said, he has long arms. So red zone threat, he's going to be a jump ball guy. Like, I don't think you're drafting a tight end. You're drafting kind of a 6'6" slot receiver, a la Johnny Wilson, you know what I'm saying? Even though I think Johnny Wilson should probably move in line. It is what it is. It's a whole different conversation. So that's my guy, and we'll see what happens with him. And we'll get right, because I didn't realize how long we've been talking. already. So we'll hop right into your guy, George, and we'll. That's not your guy
Absolutely.
at all. I'm terrible at this.
That's not my guy.
Oh my
That's my
God.
guy.
All right, we'll let you finish
All right,
it.
there it is. All right, so yeah, gonna finish it off on me right here. So I think the biggest thing for Washington moving forward
Oh,
is just adding weapons to surround.
yeah, you was like
Pause?
finishing it up on me. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to say that. It just sounded weird. It sounded.
Hey,
I was like,
hey,
hold
Joe,
Oh, yeah.
Joe,
Look at that,
I
dude. Come
wanna
on.
hear
you
you.
said, Paul, when you said, I can't wait to
Had
see
that
him in
momentum
shorts.
going, and I was flowing.
He said,
I was flowing too.
Joe
All right,
said,
it's all
I
good.
can't wait to see him in shorts. I was like, oh.
Yeah, oh my God. Honestly, like,
All right, we'll grow up now, George. I promise. I'm sorry.
all right, let me try to
I'm sorry,
recenter.
George.
Let me try to recenter after that. All right, cool. All right, so my guy is Kyron Lacey. I think the biggest thing for Washington moving forward is adding weapons around Jaden Daniels, and who's better to do that than a fellow LSU wide receiver? Granted, I would love to add, more of a higher pick, in regard to this. There's McMillan from Arizona, there's Luther Burden from Missouri, there's Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. I'd love to get one of those guys, but as we're seeing more and more, it's prudent, it's smart to draft wide receivers early because they're just so expensive nowadays, and you need 2 or 3 of them on your team, right? So right now we have Terry and the gang over here in Washington. We need some more wide receivers, and a lot of them are walking away. I think the only ones under contract next year is Zacchaeus, Olamide Zacchaeus, and Terry McLaurin, I believe, and Luke McCaffrey. So we got to refill, we got to reestablish this wide receiver room. I do think Washington will probably get a free agent in the offseason. I think they'll also add a rookie. And, as we're going to the Senior Bowl, I have my eyes on a couple of them. There's some good wide receivers there. Last week I talked about Ty Felton from Maryland, who I've seen up close and personal at Maryland because I go there. Sorry, I went there. Tez Johnson from Oregon is going to be great, but Kyron Lacey is also interesting to me too. All these guys are going to be fun to watch, but what I want to do is interview Kyron Lacey and talk to him, get to know him a little bit, because there is a connection going back to Baton Rouge with Jaden Daniels. They did play together. Last year, Kyron Lacey was a little bit hidden. He was behind 2 stud wide receivers, Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors for the New York Giants right now. So he was their number 3 wide receiver there, but he still produced. 30 catches last year, 558 yards and 7 touchdowns. And that's with Jaden Daniels throwing it to him. So there's a little bit of chemistry there. This year, with the 2 number 1 draft picks walking away from Baton Rouge, he took the lead. He walked out with 58 receptions, 866 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So he finds the end zone. And I think what's good about him, what I like about him, he has a little bit of size. He's 6'2", he's 213 pounds, but he also catches away from his body. Like, I like wide receivers that are kind of like, they're handsy, right? They catch with their hands, they can catch away from the body, catch on the sidelines. That's what I've noticed about Kyron Lacey. He's not a burner. He's a 4-5 guy, so he's more of like an intermediate route guy, or like a jump ball kind of guy, deep shots. But, sometimes you might need to complement. We have Terry McLaurin is more of like an intermediary, more of a quicker wide receiver. It might be nice to have a big body on the other side. He has produced some big games. I wrote down some stats. Against number 9, Ole Miss, he had 5 catches for 111 yards and a touchdown. Against number 14, Texas A&M, 5 catches, 106 yards, and then no touchdowns. But then against Alabama, 5 catches, 79 yards, and a touchdown. So what I like about him is he had a new quarterback. Garrett Neissemeyer took over for Jaden Daniels. New quarterback, still producing 9 touchdowns. In the SEC, has some chemistry with Jaden Daniels. He's going to be a big body. He's going to be a contested catcher, which we do need it over here in DC. He's projected as like a number 8 overall wide receiver on some big boards, sometimes as low as 13. He's more of like a day 2 pick. So my thing is, Washington needs playmakers, so potentially a tight end in the first round, or potentially a running back in the first round, or maybe a free agent wide receiver. But I could see them potentially dipping into Lacey later on in the 3rd round, potentially, just to kind of supplement the whole wide receiving core and giving Jaden Daniels someone to be comfortable with. So he's someone I'm still learning about. I'm just kind of dipping my toe in the water with him. But I'm gonna, this is the time of year we start looking into prospects more, getting down to Senior Bowl. It's gonna be fun, kind of checking him out. But he's definitely on my radar.
It's funny because it's funny you bring up a wide receiver. Last week you brought up a wide receiver as well, right? I believe you did, right? But yeah, either way, I just think it's funny because last year I took a picture and interviewed your now Luke McCaffrey, who chopped us the heck up, special teams wise yesterday or last week. So yeah, you're probably gonna take a picture with somebody that drafts by a rival. I'm just letting you know that now. Get prepared for that. It's gonna be terrible. But There's a lot of good players in this Senior Bowl. I'm actually really excited about this Senior Bowl. We were talking about it earlier about how it's kind of getting watered down. There, a lot of people are going there now. A lot of people are kind of, but I even said it. I think it's because of the NIL. I think like a lot of people are that you wouldn't really expect to stay.
Because of us.
Yeah, everybody saw us out there. It's like, oh, look fun.
Yeah, come on, dog. It's because of us, Joe. Let's give us some props, dog. Come on, give us some props, Joe. We knew it was we went down there last year and turned the hell up. Everybody like, I gotta go.
Yeah,
come on.
But you know what? Though, I got to give Jim Nagy some credit, right? I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know if I talked to you guys about it. Jim Nagy was actually on my show a couple months ago. We actually had him on our show, which is fantastic, and he was awesome because I don't know if the listeners know or if you guys know this. What he does, he actually reaches out to the different GMs around the league. And he's like, yo, give me 100 players that you want me to invite to the Senior Bowl. I'll do it for you guys. He basically he wants it to be a platform to highlight and to bring up these players, and that's why he's doing it. So, behind the curtains a little bit, they're like, hey, you can go to the practices, you can record the extras from the practices, but you have to talk about the Senior Bowl is going to be broadcast on this channel at this time because he wants to advertise it and build up the players. So, it's getting a little bit watered down, but it's still a cool platform. It's a way for college players to show off their talent and for people to get their nose in the game. It's kind of fun, even for the media guys.
Yeah, seeing Braden Fisk out there and now seeing what he's doing in the NFL is pretty cool.
Yeah, we feel good about that one. Like a lot of these people. We need to go back, Joe, and replay videos of the people that we talked about because a lot of these players that we talked about are turning up right now. You know what I'm saying? Bubba Sparks over there, killing it over in Rams land and
Los Angeles.
Xavier Legette looking good.
Yeah, we talked about Mitchell. I mean, we was talking about he was the number one corner, and he was not coming in as that. You feel me? A lot of people have wanted to see him against good competition, and we talked about him all week. What has he done with the Eagles? You know what I'm saying? So if you go back and check our videos out, we had a lot of people that remember Peyton Wilson. We was talking about he was going to turn up. He went to a great spot in Pittsburgh and is doing the damn thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's quite a few people that we talked about that we thought were going to have good careers. Some slept on guys that are having some good careers. So, hey, we got a decent eye over here, man.
Yeah, and we had some good people out there that we was chopping it up with that really helped us out. Yeah, he was big
beast. Especially on that line.
Yeah, and that's what I was. We were kind of full curtain behind the curtain real quick. That's what I was waiting for. We surpassed 500 viewers, so that's cool. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. That's really cool. I was looking at the numbers and I'm like, I ain't a number watcher, but that 500 looking close. It went to 501.
Feels good.
We have 495 right now, but we was at 501, so we need those people to come. But anyways. Behind the curtains, I was kind of saying the best part of the Senior Bowl, and I'll even say this about the Combine, was meeting the other media people, meeting the people that were kind of, because we met people, from total different teams, obviously, and it's cool to get their perspective because you don't think of that. You don't think of there's almost 1,000 players in college football. You're not going to know every single one of them. So it's cool to be able to throw your ideas and kind of. I know there was times, I don't know about James, but for me, there was times that I said something to somebody and they were like, yeah, I was thinking that too. And you're like, all right, good. I'm seeing the right things, and so it's cool. It's a really good experience. So I'm glad we get to, do it with George now. It's going to be fun. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, but either way, we about to get out of here, man. Y'all went absolutely insane today. You got a super chat, Sugar Daddy Williams.
My dog, appreciate you. $2 holla, appreciate you. Love you.
So I'm thinking of. I want to say this out loud to kind of put the onus on myself with this. I'm thinking of doing some Best of Enemies merch, just to kind of help us with the trip and everything. So if that's something you guys would like, leave it wherever you're watching. Leave a comment and just say, hey, I'd support because you guys support us so much. And yeah, I think it would be cool. I think it would be cool to kind of give something back for that support. So maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know. We'll talk about it. I appreciate everybody so much. Over 500 people. That's insane. But yeah, y'all got anything to say to these beautiful people before we get out of here?
Just want to say thank you, man. Same thing, man. For one, the Eagles and the Cowboys fans have been welcoming me. They've ribbed me a little bit, but I like it. I like to smoke a little bit. I enjoy the hollering and the joking back and forth. But I also want to give a shout out to my boy Oso, my boy Steve, my boy Chris. There's been a bunch of people, my boy Radar. They've been in the show, throwing little comments here. Adam was in here as well. It's fun seeing your boys, like actual boys from home, jumping on these chats as well. It's fun seeing that. So
well, we're your friends too, George. So remember that.
Yeah,
we're real friends too, George.
My friends, yeah, I got you.
Nah, for me, man, I'm just excited having George on here this first season. You know, me and George been doing it for 3 years. I think it's been 2 or 3.
I think 4 now.
I've been 4. We've been in it so long. So that's just a beautiful thing, seeing how the Best of Enemies grew, how it's grown. And then now we added George on there. We might as well just keep you on here, George. You can't go nowhere. You might as well just be on the Best of Enemies, bro. You feel what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's just great. And the chat's been great this season. Chat been awesome this year. Give them a big shout outs to the chat. And just right now, I mean, that's amazing. We had 500 total in the chat today. That I'm really hyped about that. That shows y'all miss us. That shows y'all respect what we try to bring to the table. Y'all respect our intellect on the football tip. And, you know, we really like that. And just really appreciate you guys. And once we get out there, man, go ham. Really support us when we're out there. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all did when me and Joe was out there. Now we'll have George out there. And Joe need to go ahead and do that damn Best of Enemies merch. Just go ahead and get that shit popping. Stop playing around. Jump on it. Do it. Get it out there. So when we go in there, we official. Like we walking in there like, who these motherfuckers? Yeah. We're Best of Enemies, motherfuckers. That's what we're doing. Excuse my language.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I'll talk to my girl. We'll figure out what we could do. We got some connects and stuff. So we'll figure it out and we'll have some fun with it. But yeah, I really can't thank y'all enough. This is always so much fun. I'll always have a good time talking to my boys. And if we can add 500 people to our conversation, I think we'll take that every time. So be sure to hit that 100%. Like, hit that subscribe wherever you are. But other than that, y'all know what it is. That's my guy, James. And that's a guy I met at Wawa's down there.
Random.
Nah, y'all know I love George, man. Y'all won. It's over. On to the Commander. On to the Cowboys. I am scarred, but we love y'all. Peace.
We're brothers. We're happy and